So, another manga review, but first I want to tell you, another episode of Papers, Please went up last night, along with all the usual episodes, and I do recommend you check out that series because starting with episode 3 onwards, it's going to get really crazy. Kind of lose my mind. But anyways, the manga series I want to review today is called National Quiz, and I don't really understand why this series hasn't gotten more notoriety, because while it is finished, and it finished a while ago, it's really, really good, and it's really insane. The premise of the series is that in an alternate future, Japan essentially just owned everybody. Like, they didn't become like a dictatorship, but they just became an incredibly powerful country to the point where everybody in the world basically looked up to them, and they just surpassed everybody in all fields of everything. Well, this Japan, it's set a little bit in the future, maybe like the year 2100, something like that. You know, it's pretty decently advanced technology, but we're not talking like Star Trek flying across the galaxies type technology. And so in this future, they've abolished all forms of government in Japan except for one thing, which is called the National Quiz. And the National Quiz is this basically game show, like it sounds, a quiz, that has 100 people every day that go on it, and there's a bunch of questions asked, and every time somebody fails a question, they are dropped out of the quiz, essentially. And so imagine it like, you know, 1 versus 100. It's sort of like that, except there's no one that you're competing against. It's just you're all competing against each other. And so once all the questions are asked, there is a very small amount of people, and then those people compete against each other in one final quiz round, and whoever wins out of those last few people gets their wish granted. Sorry about that. Just woke up. And they get their wish granted. And it can be anything. Like, it can't be anything like, you know, fucking make me like God, like give me supernatural powers, but anything that you could physically grant on Earth. Like, if you want $1 billion fucking dollars, you got it. If you want them to kill somebody, you got it. If you want them to literally, like, you know, drive a tank through your town and just mow down all the houses, you got it. It don't matter. You can get whatever you want, no matter what harm comes to somebody else, you can get it. But the downside is if you go on this show, the farther you get in it and then lose, the longer your prison sentence is. So if you fail the quiz, you go to prison. And so the risk is the same as the reward there, where if you get to the final round and you fuck up, you have a debt of like millions of dollars, and you go to prison for like years. So it's pretty damn crazy. But the thing is what the show centers around is the host of the show is a fucking nut job. Like, he is like the Joker combined with fucking Balmer from Microsoft and stuff like that times 20. He's just completely on crack. And the show centers around the effects of the National Quiz on the society of Japan and on the host and his mental stability and a lot of other stuff. So it's about 50% comedy. It's 50% dark comedy, 50% kind of like action thriller, basically. So imagine like Battle Royale, but instead of everybody offering themselves like a bunch of students, it's a bunch of like prisoners and yeah, here's a better example. The art style of this series is really close to Super Jail. So imagine fucking imagine Who Wants to Be a Millionaire combined with Battle Royale, and it's set in a prison. There you go. That's what it's like. So, definitely a very, very good series. It's not a long one either. I think it's about 30 or 40 chapters. You could easily get through it in just a few hours. Highly recommend it. Again, the series is called National Quiz. And as usual, you know, check out my past few videos if you missed them or anything else like that. And that's about it. I gotta get off to work.